guys, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Shurina. I'm your host, I'm your Brains Coach, and just someone with a lot of passion, thirst for knowledge, and just never-ending curiosity for all things brain health, brain performance, and all the brain tools you can use to feel, look, and do your absolute best. Because guys, if you forgot about that, but it's all about your brain, the quality of decisions that you make, and they are affected by so many factors. And so in this podcast, I'm trying to bring you the best tools that the science and research and experience from around the world, from top and peak performers and top researchers have to offer, so you could actually understand how to use all of this abundance of tools to be more in control of your brain and how you live your life and how you design your life. So that's the ultimate purpose. Today, guys, I was running around looking still for my permanent place to live in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Quite a pickle, to be honest. And I was thinking to myself, if I was not as much in control of my brain, of my focus, of my energy, I don't know how I would be able to handle this. And I think that's why actually a lot of people don't take this jump to start living life more adventurously and maybe get a side gig or a new business venture, maybe move to a new country. To a couple of friends of mine on LinkedIn, we were talking online in public about how almost every part of the world now is releasing some digital nomad visas and how we are truly becoming global. But you know why most people will never become global? Because a lot of people do not have the skill to control their focus. One of the skills, brain skills, cognitive skills, when a lot of things are changing around you, how to take care of stuff you need to take care of no matter where you are, no matter what's happening around you. And that's the ultimate challenge. And also how to be okay with not having everything and being uncomfortable, and also learning that you thought you liked certain things, but then you were forced in a situation with, for example, the place where you live, and you're like, I didn't like this kind of city life, but I actually preferred maybe quieter city life, and it actually works also better for my work-life balance. So the point is, when you are more in control of your brain, of your decisions, of your emotional state, which is very, very important, and we actually gonna talk why emotional state is important for you getting things done and not procrastinating in a moment. Well, not being in control of those capacities, making decisions in a chaos of your life, and not being in control of your emotions and decisions and actions that you take because of those emotions. This is the crucial kind of differentiator and separator between people who will take the jump, and maybe, guys, you need to learn those skills to make the jump, between people who will get into a new thing, who will create changes that are not so comfortable at first, never, and maybe move to a new city, move to a new country, move to a place where things might actually work much better for you. Just because you were born or spent a lot of your time in some place doesn't mean it's the best place for you, even though your brain will convince you otherwise. Because unknown is always worse for your brain than what is known and comfortable. That's just how things are. The brain always resists change because it's unknown, and potentially it can lead to a lot of energy expenditure. And your brain is so against that energy expenditure, because your brain's primary purpose is to manage that energy to make you survive and ideally thrive. Back to emotional regulation. Angela Duckworth, the author of this book, Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance, very famous researcher. She has her own podcast, No Stupid Questions, that I'm here to explore. Amazing researcher and practitioner of all things mental resilience and being a master of your brain, or not so much being, but becoming better and better and mastering our brain capacities. So she shared this article about procrastination and how just one hack to your workflow will help you to use the power of your dopamine. They were not actually talking that much about dopamine, but there was the mention of neuroscience research and the reward system that dopamine is probably the major part of. So the article was talking about procrastination and how to bust that procrastination. That's the name of the podcast. That's why you clicked on it and are listening and curious about it. So Angela Duckworth shared this article about procrastination and why some people procrastinate more and what kind of people usually procrastinate and how to make the small change to your workflow, your project managing, whether, professional life or personal life, to procrastinate less. So at the beginning of the article, they talk about how people who do not develop for one reason or the other, nature, nurture, environment, education, upbringing, when people do not develop emotional regulation skills, and by that we mean not learning how to control our emotions in the service of things that we actually want to create in life. And specifically also people who are not that good at sitting in an uncomfortable emotion and acting against very often this emotion and embracing the discomfort and just tolerating sitting with the discomfort. When people do not develop those skills, those are the people who procrastinate the most. And why is that? When you design a task for yourself, the first, especially when the task is big, the first emotion is negative because your brain senses the friction, the stress, the energy expenditure that's about to happen, and it gives you the negative emotion. So you're less likely to act to preserve energy, because saving energy is a much surer strategy for you to survive than getting out there and getting more energy. Your brain is very ancient mechanism. So whenever your brain senses expenditure of energy, it gives you negative emotion. So you stay put and evaluate, take time to evaluate. Do I really need to do it? And that's where you start talking yourself out of doing things. And then what happens? Okay, you talk yourself out of, for example, writing this bigger article or starting a new business that you're really kind of passionate about, this idea, this maybe side gig, or, something that you plan to make the major thing in your life. When you are starting on this project, you get this negative emotion again to let you sit and evaluate. But again, what happens is you start talking to yourself and you talk yourself out of it. You're like, I don't have time. I need to get this done. I need to take care of my family. I need to take care of my business. I need to do cooking. I need to exercise. I need to clean my apartment. I need to take care of bills, taxes. I need to talk to this person, right? All these things come up that are immediate and produce some result in your life. And they seem to be more urgent because this, grand project doesn't seem to be urgent. It doesn't even exist very often in real life. And starting it seems like, well, I'm going to invest all this energy, but what am I going to go get in return? That's, how very fast we negotiate with ourselves. And what happens is with delay, we're like, I'm going to start it on Saturday because then I should have more time. Immediately, you get a jolt of reward because from your brain's perspective, and your dopamine is engaged in this whole scenario very, very much so. Dopamine is not just positive, it also can be very negative. Again, it helps you to get resources, but then when you don't get resources, the dopamine plummets and it makes you feel bad about not getting those resources. But when you procrastinate and you cancel energy expenditure, you actually start feeling good because from your brain's perspective, you just saved energy, right? It's a good thing. You're gonna be doing what you plan to do, no unexpected energy expenditure, and you get this reward for not doing things. You don't realize it, but this is what happens. And you just sit do nothing, get rewarded on, you get on with your life, and that's how you procrastinate. You kind of like didn't do anything, but the most important thing from your brain's perspective is you didn't waste energy. Your brain hates this. Dopamine hates wasting energy. That's why when you fail, your dopamine levels plummet and you feel bad, so you don't waste your energy there. It's not that the thing is wrong necessarily and you should just quit it forever. It's just how your brain works. Your brain loves saving energy. That's what you want to understand. Now, people who are more comfortable for one reason or the other, athletic people who as kids were in some sort of athletic classes, or perhaps they went to dance schools, or perhaps they were in the environment where they had to go through uncomfortable situations, keep working hard, keep, getting negative feedback. Like I went to musical school, my teacher was never satisfied with me, so I always got negative feedback, but I had to work through it. That's how I developed my skill. I also was in athletics, and, there you always kind of failing until you succeed and win some sort of recognition and beat your personal record. Like you only get negative recognition in a lot of those environments, especially in Russia. Nobody's sugarcoating anything there, right? Like you just drunk and you gotta improve. So I got conditioned with getting negative feedback and acting still. Now, a lot of people, especially these days, and especially who didn't go into any of those environments as kids, you were conditioned by positive reinforcement. You're like, good kid, continue. You didn't do that bad, And as an adult, what you develop is intolerance to the negative emotion. And next time when, and so you didn't develop the skill of this emotional regulation of feeling the uncomfortable emotion and still doing things that you gotta do. And that's how, as adults, some adults procrastinate more or less. You just naturally, because of your upbringing usually, did not develop the skill of emotional regulation, of feeling the uncomfortable emotion and still doing the stuff. Now, how can you, about certain skills, about learning how to control your emotions, we're going to learn tomorrow. So it's going to be part 2. And there's going to be 3 simple exercises you're going to do every day. Very easy, very simple, do not require anything. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. But today, I'm going to give you a tool that Angela Duckworth, the author of Grit, the Power of Passion Perseverance. So in this article that she shared, they recommend it, and I never actually thought about that, and that's why I wanted to share with you. Something that will work for you right now on your reward system, on your dopamine system, that will play into the skills that you already have and will have you to procrastinate much, much, much less. So what you're going to do when you have a big project that you are procrastinating on, you are delaying, what you're going to do, like let's say you are writing an article. I'm about to write an article. And I have this uncomfortable feeling, well, that's like a lot of work. I don't want to do it, but, I have to do it. So what you're going to do, instead of looking at this project as one huge chunk of work, you're going to break it down, making the first step, the entry step, the, entry level very, very low and small. How are you going to do it? So when it comes to article, I just need to come up with a catchy title first. So I'm going to do some Google research, and we all love doing Google research, right? We love exploring internet and searching for all kinds of stuff. So do Google research. Okay, I want to write about emotional regulation. Maybe go to ChatGPT. ChatGPT can rate me 10 hooks, titles for the article about emotional regulation, and your ChatGPT will give you, right? And so this is kind of fun, a small assignment you gave yourself that is a part of writing article project. And what's going to happen while you're doing that? And it will give you, 10 names, and you're going to pick a couple and you're going to twist them and edit them and choose one. And it will feel like you've accomplished something. And guess what, guys? Your dopamine system, your brain loves accomplishing something. It means progress. And progress means potential rewards, energy rewards, and all kinds of rewards. So when you actually accomplish something, when you make progress, you are actually on the brain level rewarded with certain chemistry, and it feels good. Accomplishing things, guys, this progressing feels good. So what you just did is you made the first step small, tiny, even kind of fun. And now you feel accomplishment and your dopamine is flowing. And what happens is now you're not procrastinating. Your brain actually wants you to continue. You're like, well, you've already invested these resources, this sunk cost fallacy that your brain has. When you invest resources, your brain wants to invest more resource, to see it through the end, to get the actual reward, whatever that reward might be. So you accomplish something, you get the dopamine flowing, now you get this urge to continue, and your procrastination starts melting away. So that's how you hack your dopamine system and make things that you are resisting feel good. And in that way, you don't need to wait while you are developing all these other skills of emotional regulation and sitting with discomfort that will help you in a lot of areas of your life. Not everything can be broken down that easily, as right in an article. A lot of projects can be, most of the projects can be, but sitting with discomfort, emotional regulation skills, being in an uncomfortable situation and learning how to act with enthusiasm and positive emotions, it matters. But in this case, if you need to get done things now, today, and you are having difficulties getting over the hump, well, make the hump smaller, lower, fun, make it rewarding so your dopamine system actually starts working with you instead of working against of you. That's what when I say work with your brain, not against your brain. And that's how knowing the science can actually help you to do more and do better and do things like stop procrastination. So to sum it up, guys, if you are delaying a lot of your projects, usually are those projects, bigger projects that do not have a lot of definitive answers, that do not have constraints, that are undefined, that can end up, longer and harder. So for those kind of projects that are also non-urgent, like your life doesn't depend on them, those kind of projects people tend to procrastinate on. And these are the kind of projects that if you look on successful people, those are the kind of projects that take sometimes months, sometimes weeks, or sometimes hours. Those are the kind of projects that are non-urgent, that bring the most recognition and rewards, because you took something out of your head, an idea, and you've actually developed it into something that most people will not put the work into. And that's why you will get more reward for doing those things. But you need to get over your procrastination. And this is the tool that Angela Duckworth recommended. And it just brought my awareness back to that, how it actually works with your dopamine system, to make you feel good about this big and fuzzy, undefined, unclear project that you are procrastinating on, right? So to sum it up, break down this task, make this hump, this first step, tiny, small, fun, accomplish it, get the dopamine hit, and feel good, and feel rewarded, and feel this urge to continue. That is a brain hack that, guys, it's worth its weight. Well, not its weight, but it just worth so much. And I'm so happy to share it with you. If you love this trick, this hack, this tip, please do share it on all social media with all of your friends, with anyone who you know. Please, of course, use it in your life and see how magically it works. And then you'll feel this power, being in control of your brain and of your actions and of your habits, and ultimately of the result that you get in your life. So use the steps, teach it to other people. You actually also get oxytocin and serotonin and boost of confidence. So share it, teach it, tag me, and I'll be so grateful for you. And you get even more oxytocin, and you're gonna produce you're going to create wonderful conversations and connect with people who also love this stuff and believe in that stuff and are into high performance and deep work. Right, so apply, see how it works, feel the power to be in control of your emotions and your actions, getting things done. Tag me, share, and what else? And that basically is it, guys. Don't forget that in the show notes, you have in-depth training on focus, motivation, procrastination. Understand your brain to work with it, not against it. So check out newsletter, brainbreakthroughcoach.com/newsletter. And you get short video trainings on focus, motivation, and procrastination. Share, teach, stay tuned. Tomorrow is our masterclass on emotional regulation. You're going to look at emotional regulation from the perspective you've never looked at it before. You're going to get practical exercises. So stay tuned for that. Have a wonderful Wednesday ahead. And till next time, practice, practice, practice.